Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live stream on Sunday, September 15, 2024. So today I'm gonna, I thought I'd talk a little bit about bebop scales. Maybe talk a little bit about footprints and chat a little bit. So please do say hello and let me know what you're working on. What's it like for you the first time you pick up the guitar of the day? So when I first pick up the guitar, I think I talk about this pretty regularly. I like to just kind of start slow. Go work through exercises, work through scales and arpeggios, maybe. I like to kind of play sort of almost kind of random things. Maybe pick a progression, maybe move it around the neck a little bit. Well, let's discuss a little bit today about bebop scales. We have bebop scales that are 8 notes. We have bebop scales that are 10 notes. And maybe I'll start out by discussing a little bit about, why it's important, or why it could be important to your playing and improvisation. Let's say we've got change my screen here. Let's say we have a C major chord. So when I think C major or 7 or C, anything under the umbrella of major, take the more consonant tones here. So we have a C major triad, and then the 6 is going to also be a fairly consonant tone on the chord. Really, the major 7 is a little dissonant. It's a pretty sound, but it's a dissonant sound. So rather than thinking in terms of the 7, even though it's a chord tone, we'll think in terms of the 6. So what does that leave us with? We have the C major triad, right? And then we have a 9, which is consonant, fairly consonant, and the 6, which is also a fairly consonant tone. And so that gives us how many tones? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll say 6 or 9. Okay, so we're looking for 4 notes here. So let's go back to our, let's scratch the 9 here for a minute. I'm thinking more in terms of the 10 notes. So focus on the 8 note bebop scale start out. So we have the major triad and then the 6th. Okay. So now when you play, if you want to play those on strong beats like 1, 2, 3, 4, you could put a note in between each one of those. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. And then we will get back to the root note. Let's say on 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So then you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So why is that significant or important? Well, if your goal is to create a phrase or line that is outlining the consonances and suggesting the chord of C major, landing on those tones on the strong beats will help you to achieve that. And then the notes in between, which are less consonant, those will land on the end of the beat and kind of move you toward the note. So experiment with the bebop scale. So in the shorts that I've been releasing this past week, we had the tonic major and we had the tonic minor. Tonic minor gets a little bit complicated because we could have sounds like minor major 7, or we could have minor 7, and then the 6 is sort of consonant, right? So again, take a minor chord, which you intend to use as a tonic chord, not a predominant chord, and find the triad. So C minor triad. Okay. And then put the 6 in there. Right? So really the only difference is between this one and the major is that this one has an E flat. Okay. And so then, and in one of the shorts, I only did one of these 2 scales, but you can do a melodic minor. So you put the notes in between these 4 tones, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So in that case, I was playing from melodic minor. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. Sunday morning here. Doing a little live streaming. And been getting on once or twice a week. Actually been doing twice a week, and I'm hoping to get up to 3 times per week. And playing a little bit somewhat in the morning and talking about tunes. I'm streaming on mobile as well as desktop, or vertical and horizontal. Played a gig last night. Really nice, actually, in my local town. So it's pretty cool, right down the road from me. And outdoor concert. And the weather was great, and the band sounded great. Really feel very grateful to be a part of it. It's really cool, and also so helpful to have that concert here, right? Because they talked about my local lessons studio, and as they announced it, and so that was really cool. Had a bunch of students there, so really grateful that some folks came out, and it was packed. I looked up at the very end and said, "Wow, this place is pretty packed up." So kind of big band music. Really a good time. I use the quilter gear, which is really does great at keeping up with the amount of volume and sound it can. I can really get the guitar to sound present in the out there in the audience. Folks said they could hear the guitar throughout. So that was encouraging to hear that, and to know that equipment works at such high volume levels. I have no sponsorship from Quilter. I'm just kind of giving my personal take. I will mention that since reaching the 10,000 subscriber mark, YouTube has opened up this little affiliate store on my channel, and so I have put some gear on that store that I actively use. All right, well, my wife has said hello. Great audio. Okay, glad to hear it. Yeah, our community enjoyed the Blue Moon Big Band. Yeah, it's the Blue Moon Big Band. They have a bunch of CDs. They're played on the radio at times, and I'm on their latest album. I joined, not sure how many years ago. It's been quite a few, but really happy to be a part of the efforts of these really incredible musicians. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about bebop scales. We talked a little bit about why they're important, and just to reiterate, or maybe give a different angle on that, it really kind of comes down to the numbers of notes. So if you have a major scale, you have 7 notes, and then the 8th note is the first note again, so it's still just 7 notes. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you were to, for example, play on a backing track, and you just played 2 octaves of a C major scale, right? And you started on 1, you would have notice that this root note will start on beat 1. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So when I played 1 again, now I'm on D. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, from the purpose of putting some of these consonances down, if you're, let's say, vamping a C major chord and you're practicing and trying to get inside that sound with Band in a Box or iReal Pro or Aebersold or whatever, then, it comes down to the numbers. So if you have, like I did earlier, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So notice you have an even number of notes, 8. 4 of those are going to be consonants on your chords, or your chord, and then 4 of them are in between. So it really works out. It's kind of just math in a way. So we have tonic minor, tonic major. So what is a tonic? So you can think of a tonic as a note that you would hear as things kind of gravitating towards or moving towards or wanting to go towards, right? So if I play something like, you already probably hear the tonic, which is this, right? So that's sort of like a phenomenon, right? So you give your ear a few notes, and then you kind of hear that note. That would be the tonic. So if we have a chord built on the tonic like C, right, that would be a tonic major chord. We can also have tonic minor, and we still hear this note, right? And so we have the tonic minor, we have a chord built on that. So as a general rule of thumb, it's helpful to connect between the 5th and the 6th of those, right? And in the shorts, I talked a little bit about that, but given there's only 1 minute to talk about it, can't go into too much depth. But when it comes to the 5 chord, or the dominant, the chord that wants to resolve to the tonic, then, as a kind of rule of thumb, you connect between the root and the 7th. Right? So that gives us 8 notes, right? And so we have the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7, right? That makes sense. It's almost a little clearer than the concept of the tonic, because all of those are chord tones, right? So G, B, D, F, right? So then you're kind of placing a note in between. So if it's, and you can do this with altered scales and any sort of things. I'm going to keep it real simple. Think of mixolydian here. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. And then I think I talked about Phrygian dominant as well, which I just played a moment ago. But you can use this with alter scales, all sorts of things. This also applies to what are known as predominant chords. And predominant as the name kind of implies, is a chord that comes before the dominant. So you could have, for example, C minor 7 flat 5. Think about the chord tones of that, and then put notes kind of basically in between, right? So, and here we can get into a couple of different options on this part, but I'm gonna keep it simple. But you could also play. Okay, so you're connecting between the flat 7 and the root note. Right. So that might be a good approach for folks. Think in terms of just a little connecting passing tone between the scales that you may already know. So between the 5th and the 6th on tonic chords, between the flat 7 and the root of the dominant or predominant type chords. So I think I mentioned last time about this coffee mug and stuff, and that came from a student who was a really big Beatles fan. So I'm got a little things in the works to maybe put out some merchandise type stuff, and checking out some other channels, seeing what other folks are doing out there, and so may develop a logo or something, and maybe catchphrase. I don't know, maybe not. But also plans to put a workshop together, perhaps meeting on WebEx, which is what I use for my online lessons. And so, I think a weekly kind of workshop, kind of rolling thing where folks can kind of join and focus on a tune. Let me know what you all think out there. Is tune per week is maybe too much? Maybe it needs to be a month. Or does a month get a little boring? No, maybe I shouldn't say boring, but get like want a little variety. So maybe a standard per month, and then mix in some like a blues tune or something like that. Oh, I'll mention a little bit about Dorico. So Dorico is a music notation program that I just became familiar with because I got a notification from Finale that they're closing down. And so there's a limited time offer to do a cross grade, which is very interesting about music notation. Is it seems fairly common to be able to do these cross grades between completely different companies, which I don't think I've come across that in other areas of software or anything. But let me know what you've come across. But anyway, I remember cross grading from Finale to Sibelius, I think, and then Sibelius back to Finale, and so now off to Dorico, perhaps. But it's a bit concerning that the main software notation that I use, finale, is not under development basically any longer. I don't know the exact details, so check into that yourself. But it's pretty much on its way out, and they are recommending Dorico and cross grading over to that. So I've been experimenting with it. I have to say I do like it. It's been fairly intuitive, and I'm putting together my new footprints video using that one, and so I'm very confident that that will be done by the end of this week. But anyway, Dorico, check it out, by Steinberg, and they are, I don't know a lot about them, but they kind of a big deal, I would say, in the music, maybe technology space. Again, I don't know a whole ton about them, but I come across that name again and again and again, and I think they are possibly responsible for ASIO, or have something to do with them. Please let me know if you have more knowledge in this area. Type in and leave a comment. But that's something that Windows, if you're a Windows user, you really need to be involved with ASIO. Okay. Well, why not talk about 10-note bebop scales? Maybe first, before we get into it, another reason to really be thinking about these bebop type scales is when you have lines and you want to create stepwise motion. So you want half steps and whole steps, then these can be very helpful for that, creating lines or smaller intervals and moving through the changes. So aside from the even number aspect of it, there's also the aspect of having small steps. And so if you have been working towards outlining changes through maybe using arpeggios and things like that, then you may find that you're using lots of thirds, and then you want to create variety in your line, so you're also using other intervals, maybe some more whole steps and half steps. So we have back to C major. Get back to what I was talking about before. If we have not only the triad, the 6, but also the 9, so basically a pentatonic scale, major pentatonic, then we can create half steps between those as well. So we get okay, and there we have 5 times 2 is 10. So you just create little half steps in between those. So then you can create these lines that are kind of connected between those things. And I should say that there are like all sorts of ways that you can do this. Let's say you're working on Dorian. There's a lot of talk about Dorian on the internet, I think. So you can connect. I'm kind of moving off of the 10-note bebop scales here, but all sorts of options, right? So you can play that and then move on from there. So that's so then you're putting a note in between the flat third and the fourth. Seems a little dangerous, right? But if you have this on the end of the beat, it's gonna work, right? And the 11 is a really nice sound on minor. It's really consonant. It's a really good go-to sound. So I would take this and just experiment and kind of be playful with it. Try it out between different notes of some of the scales and things that you're doing, that you're playing, and maybe I'll mention a little bit about some of the goals with this as well. So if you have a goal, right, to improvise, right, to create lines and melodies, this some of these studies and things will help to equip you with familiarity for your ear, and some familiarity for the shapes and things. So try to keep excuse me, I just muted my mic for your benefit. So try to imprint, visually and spatially, like a chord, like try to visualize this chord, not only like the shape, but also the sound of it, but both, as you play through, right? And keep reminding your ear about it, keep reminding your mind's eye about the shape and everything. All right, everybody. Well, kind of rambled on for long enough, probably. Thanks for checking this out. I do hope you enjoyed it. And leave a comment, leave a question. Let me know how you're doing with some of these ideas and concepts. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a great practice session.